In today's video, I am finally going to give you a tour of my new house. Now, it feels a bit out of order that I'm just starting right off with the house tour because I haven't really shown you any footage of actually moving yet or telling any more of the backstories with that or explaining the process. But don't worry because that video will definitely be coming out at some point before this year is over. I've just been really busy and there's some clips from a couple months ago and I just need to find the time to really dig through them and get those edited. But in the meantime, since we have the house pretty close to how we want it to be, I figured now is an appropriate time to show it to you guys. Now, there's still a lot of things here that we plan on changing or redoing. It's still pretty simple and basic right now, but it's at least comfortable and we're happy right now. So we figured we'll show it off and then we'll get you more details later on moving forward. So we're going to start outside in the chicken pen since we have so many chicken fans here, and then we will show you all around. Okay, so like I mentioned, it is now October, so when I give you this tour, you're going to see a lot of fall and Halloween decorations. And you'll also see that some of the chickens look a little rough. That's because, well, like I said, it's fall now, so they're molting. And since it's fall, you can see they're also carving this pumpkin here. Pumpkins are a great enrichment activity for chickens. They are filled with different vitamins and minerals and nutrients, lots of fiber. Some people say it has natural deworming properties. I'm not too positive how accurate that is or not, but either way it doesn't hurt. And it really keeps them entertained. So if you have chickens, I highly recommend you get them some pumpkins in the fall. This variety is called Long Island cheese, and it's a baking variety, so this one has a lot of thick flesh in it, whereas if you get like a traditional carving pumpkin, which they still enjoy and they still can eat that, but that's going to be more stringy, and it won't have quite as much flesh in there as this one does. But that has nothing to do with the tour. I just wanted to throw that out there for all my chicken people that watch this channel. But now we're going to get right into the tour. Now, I will say that this house, just to give you a little bit of background on it, is over 100 years old, which is really cool. I was happy to get a house that had some history and some character. Now, it has been updated. We bought the house privately, and the people that were selling it had hired some contractors to fix it up. I'm not going to get into really any details with this because it's private, it's handled, it's done with, but I will say that the contractors and the sellers were pretty difficult. There was a lot of back and forth, a lot of things that we were told were going to get done and didn't, which is part of why it took so long to get this video out. We've been very busy with just little projects here and there, and still there's some stuff that needs to be done. So you may notice some little quirky stuff with the house, but like I said, it's an old house and it's no big deal. We can live with it now, and the little things that need to be fixed up will get done. It's on our to-do list. But overall, we are very happy and lucky that we got this house, so I'm excited to show it off for you. So since we're out here, I guess we'll start with the chicken area. So originally, I was going to do a full enclosure rebuild, but then since things didn't quite go according to plan with what we thought we were getting out of the house, we had to save our budget for other things for the house that could not be put off or ignored. So in the meantime, I just brought over my old kennel panels that I had originally used for my chickens, and honestly, they work just fine. Safety is a priority, so the day we brought the chickens over, one of the first things we did was get this netting over top. This is a setup that has worked really well for me for the past 5.5 years having chickens, so it'll do for now. Now, that doesn't mean in the future I'm not going to make some changes in here, but for right now, they're safe and happy and healthy in here, and it works. You can see in the back I do have some extra panels that I ended up not needing from my old house, so my friend is actually going to come pick those up and she's going to use them for her chickens. And then over here we have a little roosting bar for them, just a branch we found in the yard, and they like to sit on that. We have their picnic table, which I just cleaned off the other day and they already pooped on it, but that's one of the joys of having chickens. They always keep you busy with cleaning up after them. Then here's just a wooden pallet that they can go perch on. We got their coop brought over, of course, and I pressure washed it, but obviously missed some spots, so we're gonna get that pressure washed again before it gets too cold here. And then we put it on top of, let me get a different angle since my shadow's in the way. We put it on top of marble chips so that way it can help preserve the wood of the coop, and once we get it cleaned and it rains in the future, this will prevent mud from splashing back up onto the coop and making it dirty. So this is just really going to help things drain and stay neat and clean. And then this is where I keep grit and oyster shell, but I need to go unpack and find my longer shepherd's hook because I don't like it touching the ground. But with the stone, it does help keep it clean. And it worked out perfectly because there's trees around where we put the coop, so that way they're going to get shade throughout the day. You don't want your chickens to constantly be in sunlight for obvious reasons. And then back here is their little dust bath area. Overall, I would say the move with the chickens went pretty smooth. That was the one I was dreading the most, just because there was a lot of big pieces to move with the kennel panels and the coop and just so many chickens. They were a little freaked out as we were caging them up to bring them over here, because that's not something I normally do with them. I would say the first half of the flock, because most of them are really, really friendly, I was able to just pick up and put in the cage. But as the remaining half saw what was happening and saw the others going in a cage and into a truck, they were getting freaked out and then became harder and harder to catch. When moving day happened, my boyfriend had off, and the two people that were helping us bring the coop over, that was like the only time and day they can do it. So I could not get off of work that day, so I was pretty stressed out because I wasn't there to help. But on my lunch break, I rushed over and was able to cage up the chickens, and then Steve and the guys from work that were helping move them handled the rest. Got them over here, got everything set up. I think because the chickens all had each other and their exact coop brought over and just so many familiar things, they settled in pretty quickly. I will say, like, the first 2 mornings here, they would come out of the coop looking pretty confused, a little bit cautious, but they actually settled in so quick. Now, since I wasn't here when they brought the coop, they put the coop in at an angle I don't really prefer. I would have preferred if the front of the coop was facing this way, so that way when I'm in the backyard, I can see the cute front. But what's done is done. Nothing I can do about that now. And once we get it pressure washed off again, I actually bought some sunflower decorations that we're going to hang on the back just to dress it up and make it look a little bit prettier. So now I will show you the rest of the yard, and then we'll move over to the house. Oh, and if you're wondering where the partridge silky rooster is from the other clips, he is not here anymore. As you know, he ended up being a rooster, so I can't have him in this neighborhood, so my friend was kind enough to take him, so he's living with my friend and her flock now. So here is the yard. You will see it's a bit overgrown in some spots. So the people that we bought this house from kind of let things get a little bit out of control with the landscaping, according to one of the neighbors. But the neighbor told us that the lady that owned the house before they did, she was a school teacher and apparently had a glorious garden, took really, really good care of the property. And unfortunately, the people that bought it after her didn't maintain it. So you will see that Steve and I have a lot of landscaping projects to work on this fall and in the spring, but we have plans to restore it to its former glory. We really love gardening, vegetable gardens, flowers, so we already have some plans to clear out some overgrown stuff and put some new stuff in. But with winter fast approaching, there's only so much we can do right now. But I will certainly give you guys updates as we work on these projects and get things looking how we want them. This little shed over here kind of reminds me of Shrek's outhouse. It has a ton of ivy over it. The previous owners really liked their ivy. I personally am not a fan of it. Steve thinks it looks kind of cool, but I don't like ivy because it just spreads so fast and it tries to overtake everything and it's a pain. Like you can see how it took over this. And then when you do go to try to pull it off of something, like if it gets onto the buildings, it just pulls off the paint and it's just such a mess. So we're going to be getting rid of the ivy, which I know is not an easy task, but that's on our to-do list. And then we got the raised beds all lined up. And my grow bags I will be putting in a better spot. My dad brought these over with the truck and we just dropped them off here for now, but I will be making this more organized. And then here is our willow tree. I always wanted a willow tree, so I'm so happy that we have one. Our property goes just beyond this willow tree. And we are planning in early spring to get our full backyard fenced in, which will be really nice. And there's a really nice little walking path down there. And then we eventually want to make this like a cute little like area to maybe come out in the morning and eat breakfast. Here's some pokeberry that is poisonous. Definitely got to get rid of that. There's been so many pokeberries on this property that we've been getting rid of. And this little birdhouse was left behind. It has a nest in it, but by now it's probably empty. And here's our garage slash workshop. Whoa, almost dropped the camera. So I might be saying this a lot in the video. It's a bit of a mess, but like I said, Moving has been a lot of work, and we didn't take a lot of time off of work to move. So a lot of projects we've just been doing like on weekends and evenings, and we've actually had a lot of obligations every weekend with like family stuff going on or like big events that we couldn't miss. So we weren't progressing as fast as I hoped we were, but we're actually starting to catch up a little bit more now, which is making me very happy. So eventually we will be making this a workshop, so we're going to make it a lot more roomy in here, a lot more organized, work on some projects, which will be cool. Steve and I were talking about learning how to do custom reptile enclosures and building those ourselves. I had mentioned before in other videos that I wanted to get big custom enclosures built for my adult breeder crested geckos. Well, the guy I had hired to do that ended up having to get hand surgery, and I think he said, not at the same time, of course, but he was going to need surgery on both of his hands. So this pushed back what he was going to do for me, which was disappointing. He did give me the number to someone else who might be able to do it, but Steve is pretty confident that he could build it himself. So that's something that's on our to-do list for one of our 2026 goals. So that'll be exciting. Make some nice, pretty display tanks for them. And all of our neighbors are pretty friendly, pretty chill. There's some other people with chickens here, which is cool. And you can hear the church bells from our house, which I really like. Nice little pathway. This is pretty overgrown though, so it was worse. We worked on it a little bit, but we'll definitely be fixing it up even more. There's another look at the garage. And there is Rupert, the frog statue that came with the house. As you can see, the previous owners really loved their ivy. We will most likely be getting rid of this. And it's October, so of course I had to decorate for Halloween, one of my favorite holidays. You can see the neighbors got their skeleton out on their tractor. And there's some really pretty trees hidden in here, but it's a shame that so much stuff was planted on top of each other because some of it is going to have to come down because it's blocking it. Here we have a crabapple tree, which is awesome. Very nostalgic for me because growing up, we had a crabapple tree at my parents' house, and I just loved sitting under that tree, snacking on the crab apples. And this tree right here is not in bloom anymore, but when it is in bloom, I'll put some pictures on the screen. It has the most spectacular flowers on it, and I love looking at them from the window inside. We also have some really beautiful and fantastic smelling butterfly bushes here, but they're not in bloom at the moment either. Now, as you can see, we are pretty close to a road, but it's a fairly quiet road, which is nice because I don't think I could handle a busy road. But we have this cool little stairway that leads up to the house. It is overgrown, but we'll work on that. And we're probably honestly going to get rid of this fence when we do our privacy fence around there and put something else in. Because I don't think we're going to put a privacy fence over on this side because it's already pretty private with all the plants. But we'll put some kind of fencing up just to keep Eva safe. We'll probably get rid of this old one. It's falling apart anyway. So one day it'll be cool to look back at this video once we have all this done and see what it looked like before. Rose bushes that smell really good, but not in bloom right now. So now let's go back to the front of the house. I got all my pumpkins, floating witch hats, and this cute little chicken pumpkin solar light. Tricolor mum, and I've been watering it. I don't know why it looks a little bit dry. I might need to deadhead it and fertilize it maybe. But it was actually really hot yesterday, so I think that stressed it out a little bit. And then this plant right here is purple millet. And then we got a peanut pumpkin. This one is a Cinderella. And then, of course, you gotta have a porch goose. My whole life, I wanted a porch. It was on my goal sheet to get a house with a porch. And then when I found out about porch geese, I was like, well, that's adorable. I love poultry. I gotta get that. So her name is Gladys. I'll have to be getting her Halloween outfit soon. And then I got more pumpkins and hats right there. And this sign came from Aldi, and you can flip it around. Got to take off the tag. And you can have a spooky side, which I'll be flipping that around once we get a little bit closer to Halloween. in a couple weeks here. And the people that moved, they left all of this furniture on the porch, which was fantastic. We will be getting different cushions for it. And then my parents were nice enough to give us this outdoor rug. I love the porch swing so much. It's so nice just sitting out here and drinking tea and reading a book. And we get spectacular views of the sunset from here too, which is really cool. Here's some different fall succulent arrangements that I sell. Here's my sweet little monkey spying from the window. So now let's go in and I will give you the grand tour. I guess it would help if I unlock it. I'm not going to show you my code though, so hold on. All of my new neighbors aren't used to me talking to myself. Well, I'm not talking to myself, I'm talking to you guys, but they probably don't know that, like my old neighbors did. So all the other ones out there sitting on their porch were probably like, what the heck is she doing? But they're gonna have to get used to it because this is what I do. Monkey, why you look so awkward? Okay, I gave her her Halloween bandana, so now she can get into the spirit. So don't mind this. Yesterday we had a housewarming party, and this is just some of the gifts that people were kind enough to bring. I'll move that out of the way for the tour. So there's my welcome mat I got on Amazon because I love sunflowers. So we got a sunflower one. And then this one we found at a little local store. And it was not originally a key rack, but my dad added hooks to it for me because I thought it would make a cute key rack. So we got that. And then a little area to put shoes and hang up our stuff. This Birdman belonged to my grandmother. And so did this. So I got those up there in her honor. Got these light up ghosts from Aldi. And this cool pumpkin was on Amazon. And then of course, my frog terrarium. Got a little tree frog in there. And then, let's see. Over here, we have the TV and we have Eva's bed, which is also a piece of furniture. I keep her bandanas in there. Very stylish dog. And here is a look at the living room. Don't mind Eva's toys on the floor. She loves laying in the sun. Do you like laying in the sun? And then here is a Whippet pillow that her breeder gave me as a Christmas gift one year. And these light up too. But it's daytime, so I have them off. Then we got Steve's record player, and then some of my Halloween decorations. I got this one from Home Goods. If you watched that video I put on a couple weeks ago, you probably saw it there. And this is my current fall time read, Frankenstein. I figured with Halloween coming, I might as well read it. I had never read it before. It's pretty good. And here's our dining room. We got these floating shelves. Put some Halloween decorations on it. Lights up. And then this is our temporary AC unit. You may have noticed in the garage we had boxes of mini splits. So we just got those dropped off the other day and we're going to be having those installed in the very near future. So we will have real heating and real air conditioning soon. So we're very excited about that. And here's our table. We do need to restain it, but this was my grandparents' table. So it's pretty cool that I got to get that. And here's our hutch. It just really helps with extra storage because there's not a ton of space in our kitchen for storage, so this has come in handy with putting some of our other stuff in there. And then Eva's toys. I want to eventually get her a better system for that because she has so many, but that works for now. And then some more decorations on our table. And then we'll go this way through the kitchen. So you can see my little ghost garland. Aren't they cute? Oh, and then you probably recognize this sign from some of my other videos because sometimes I would do shots of it at the old house. So of course I brought that along. And then here's our kitchen. You'll see we have some more Halloween decorations in here. A little ghost in a jar that I made myself last year. Made it out of clay. And then these chicken plates, oh, there, got it more level. These belong to my grandmother, and funny enough, they match the color of the kitchen, so it worked out perfectly to put them in here. And then I also got this painting from Home Goods. Thought it was cute. And then here is where we keep our potatoes that I grew. Grew them in a grow bag. I do have videos on how to do that if you're interested. And this is real granite, so it's been a learning curve seeing how to clean and take care of that, but not too hard. You just gotta make sure you use appropriate cleaning supplies on there and you won't have an issue. And this plant has LED light strands in it, but they already stopped working, so not very happy about that, but I can get that replaced. And then I got my big chicken decoration from Home Goods up there, Steve's little teapot, and then I need something else for that corner. We just haven't found the right piece yet. And then if you go through this door, it takes you to our plant room. And you can see the disco ball is making some beautiful little spots on the ceiling. So we got some instruments in here and our plants. Nice little hangout spot. I need to get a cover for that. Another record player. And then this is Marcellus, my little octopus friend. He holds on to my chicken keys for me because I keep them locked up. This is my pine cone cactus, one of my favorite ones actually. And this old man cactus I got at Lowe's like, I don't know, maybe close to 10 years ago, and it's still going strong. It was so small when I got it. And then if you walk into here, and we need to figure out a way to dress this room up a little bit better. Not that we really use it besides going in and out, but still, we want it to look nice. So still thinking of ideas for this one. The housewarming party yesterday, my aunt gave me this really cool chicken solar light, and it makes chicken and chick shapes when it lights up at night, so I'm gonna get that hung up outside. Eva's here supervising. And then obviously this leads to the backyard, which you already saw. So now we're gonna make our way upstairs. So here is our bedroom. Very plain because the contractors had them paint everything white, which I don't mind because that way when we do want to change something, it'll be easy to paint over and change. So everything's nice and clean and neutral right now. We are obviously going to eventually do a theme for our bedroom, but right now, this is what we have. And I got some more cactuses in here. A bookshelf that we are not finished filling. And if you were wondering earlier why I named the octopus down there Marcellus, read this book. Highly recommend it. It was such a good book. And then here's our bathroom. This floor here is pretty squeaky. And like a lot of old farmhouses, you can't really tell in here, but some of the rooms slightly go downhill a little bit, but it's really not too bad. So these mushroom signs were from me. But then those signs right there, the original homeowners left behind, and we just left it up. So yeah, brand new tile floors that the contractors put in. I love this waterfall head in the shower. And then this is one of my favorite rooms, and it's still not fully done because like I said, we were gonna make updates with the reptile enclosures. But here's the reptile business room / Steve's little office corner. Over here in these smaller tanks, we got babies and isopods. And then in the bigger tanks, we got breeders. All separated right now, no one's paired up. Now that we're getting towards winter, everyone gets their break. So I breed crested geckos. Here's a picture of them on the screen if you're not familiar with them. And then if you were wondering what isopods are that I just mentioned, they are basically roly-polies. There's a lot of different kinds of them. I have a couple of videos on my channel about them, but they're these really neat little creatures. They are technically crustaceans, and they serve as a cleanup crew if you have bioactive terrariums such as this for my little mini chameleon gecko. It will help aerate the soil. They remove heavy metals out of the soil in nature, so they're just nature's way of keeping things nice and healthy. They aerate the soil for plants. They will eat any uneaten food from your gecko. They'll eat your gecko's poop, shedded skin, whatever they leave behind. So they're really helpful in bioactive terrariums. Here are some dairy cow isopods. There's a lot of different varieties. In my bioactive tanks, I mostly just use the powdered orange. But these guys are neat even just to have as a pet. The dairy cows are really active. I won't go into too much detail about that because, like I said, I have other videos on my channel already. And I will update you, of course, as we get those new enclosures put in here. And in here is basically just like a random storage room for now. Eventually, when we have kids, we'll have one of the spare rooms for a kid's bedroom, but we're not planning on that anytime too soon. So right now, we just got some exercise equipment and just some random odds and ends and like craft supplies in here. Oh, but it does lead to the attic. It's a really nice, huge walk-in attic. So great for storage, but I don't really like going up there. And I don't have shoes on, so don't want to go up there without shoes. This is a bit of a mess right now, but we have this huge walk-in closet. Get it better organized, but it's nice having that big closet. And then this barn door for the bathroom is pretty cool looking. So there's a shot of that. But not the most private. So we'll probably be doing something about that in the future, but for now, it's just me and Steve here, so it's fine for now. And last, I will show you the basement. It is an unfinished basement for the most part, and you'll see why I say that in a moment. And again, still working on getting it more organized. Steve is working on some projects down here right now, so you'll see some of his tools out. Yeah, it just looks like an unfinished basement. But what is this? A secret room? Very strange. We were quite bewildered the first time we came here to tour the place. Again, don't mind the clutter. So there's another bathroom in here, which is awesome. We were very happy about that because having only one bathroom would have been kind of rough. But this was just so random that this was down here. And then come to find out, the other owners who lived here before us had one of their small children using this as a bedroom. And I don't have kids, so I really guess I shouldn't be judging, but I wouldn't feel safe having especially a young child down here. I mean, what if they got trapped in here and there's like a fire or something? There's no windows in this room. So we definitely won't be using it for a bedroom. We're going to use it more just for like probably a storage room or something, or like a prepper's room where we can put like canned goods and like stuff that we preserve from the garden and stuff like that. We'll get some more shelving in here. But yeah, we were a little bit weirded out by that. And it was funny because when I saw it, I was like, so this house comes with a poop dungeon because it was kind of creepy down here. And then I told my friend about it and he made us this sign to put on the door. So I thought that was pretty funny. Yes, once we have things more the way we want it, which might be a little while because lots of little projects and lots of other things going on in their lives. But I'll update you guys then, of course. Let's go upstairs, monkey. So yeah, that was the tour. I will definitely be putting on some videos of when we were actually moving. And especially the whole process with the chickens, so that you guys can see that too. Now, it was such a hectic, chaotic, very busy point in my life, obviously. So I didn't do like full vlogging style videos during that. It'll just be random clips and I'll explain it as the video goes on, of course, when I make that one. But that one will be coming out in the near future. I just really need to find the time to sit down and go through all of that footage from a couple months ago and put it together and make it make sense. But yeah, stay tuned because I will definitely be showing you the moving process and how we got the chickens over here, because that one was quite interesting. But in the meantime, I hope you enjoyed this tour. It's been a ton of work for us, but also very rewarding. And although there's still a lot of work to do, we are very grateful for everything that we have going on right now. and we really appreciate you guys watching.